Hey there, happy day 19 of our Get Up and Go Challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, talking about the S in our SOAP framework. And I committed yesterday that I was going to go through it this time with respect to relationships out of our big 7 areas: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, health, financial health, I guess, or wealth, which we just got done with, and I shared what I'm working on in that area, and then relationships and contribution. And I will admit, one of the biggest challenges for me personally, if I am being honest, and it's hard to be honest about, has probably been the area of relationships. Why? Relationships affect everything. The thing about these 7 main areas of our life, guess what? They affect everything else. They affect every other area of our life. And one of the areas, I'm a little scared to share this, but one of the areas that I struggle with respect to relationships is in business. And I wanted to say and think that it was only the last few years that I've been online that I've struggled with doing this, and I've not made myself do it, is the area of picking a particular group of people that I serve, a particular tribe, a particular community, a particular cluster of people that I speak to directly. I have been, and I continue to be, all over the board, right? And what happens when you're all over the board in any life, in any business, in anything? You are unfocused and chaotic, and people don't know if they can relate to you or not. Now, I'm definitely not alone in this. It's one of the biggest things that I coach my coaching students on, is picking an area of focus, focusing on a certain group of people, focusing on a certain skill set, and serving people that way first. I don't know why I'm resisting it, but in April, when I did this challenge the first time, I guess relationships is the area that I am really going deep on with respect to the SOAP framework, and consciously using the SOAP framework, not just letting it run subconsciously on me, because whenever we have something that's running subconsciously and automatic for us, we continue to get the same results we've already been getting. So if I want to change something, I need to consciously think about it, and I need to ask questions about it and say, is where I am, which is what S is all about, right? Our situation. Is where I am right now where I want to be? And if the answer is no, guess what? It's up to me to do something about that. And I have done a lot of things online and a lot of things offline. And it's interesting because I was trying to convince myself that this is just an online phenomenon for me, where I don't pick a particular group of people to serve. But the truth is, I did the same thing offline with respect to my Italian food business. I tended to think everybody loved Italian food, and that everybody would want to eat and enjoy handmade Italian food. Well, I know on a conscious level that that's absolutely positively not true. Remember doing demos for the food business in the frozen food department, and people were on the low carb, no carb diets. And they pretty much always have been, right? People, now it's keto, but back then it was no carbs, I hate carbohydrates, I'm not eating anything with flour in it. And of course, ravioli is made with flour, right? Flour's in one of the major, it probably is the major component. It is the major component in ravioli. So people would just snub me, and they'd, and I'd be like, wow, that was mean. And they're like, I don't eat carbs. A little 3-year-old or 2-year-old would walk by, she doesn't eat carbs either. I'm like, oh my God, people, come on. So I've actually always been that way. And I should know that, because it took me forever to pick a major in college. I ended up getting 3 majors instead of 1 because I couldn't make up my mind. So why does this surprise me? That picking a niche, picking a group of people, one singular category and group of people that I'm going to serve, has been and continues to elude me. So right here, right now, I am committing to, with respect to relationships, I'm going to select my tribe. And to get leverage on myself, I've done a couple things different. The S in our SOAP framework is all about the story that we're telling ourselves right now. That's our current situation. And then the future vision story of what we want to be telling ourselves. What we want, not what we want to be telling ourselves, what we want to tell ourselves now the future's like, so that it pulls us toward it. If we paint the picture, and if we're very clear and specific about what we want, then we've got our destination in mind, and then we can just work backwards from that to figure out what to do next to move us toward what we want, instead of staying stuck where we are. So one of the things I already started doing with respect to S is brainstorming out and looking at and being honest with myself in terms of why am I resistant? Because business is all about relationships, right? Everything we do is all about relationships and how we want to feel with respect to helping and serving people. So I started listing out what are some of the reasons and the excuses that I'm using to not pick a singular focus, and some of my fears around that, because really excuses are just fears. And I need my magnifying glass so I can share a couple of them. I can't choose one. I can't choose just one. That's been my excuse, and that's what I tell myself all the time. I don't know who I resonate with, and that's mainly, I don't know who's going to like me and who's going to want to hear what I have to say. I'm too different, weird, unique, freaking crazy. I'm scared to choose one. What if I make a mistake and I choose the wrong group of people? What if I, pick a group and they hate me? That's actually my next one. What if I let them down? What if I don't know? How often do we tell ourselves we don't know who we serve and who we're here to help? And then to get leverage on myself and work on the future vision of what life will be like when I actually am clear on this, because it's really all about clarity and focus, right? I'm asking myself, what happens if I don't choose? What if I don't make a decision? What if I don't fix this relationship? What if I don't choose to have this relationship? What if I don't choose to take care of myself physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually? What if I don't choose to make decisions and choices to create the future financial relationship that I want? This is a great way to really get emotional leverage on myself and on yourself. If we think about, and I'm sure I learned this from Tony Robbins. Obviously, Tony Robbins, been following the guy for 4 decades, has had an impact on the way I automatically ask questions and behave and think about things. Just like Think and Grow Rich. I can't not live and learn the lessons that I've learned from that book. So I use the 7 whys to ask myself, why do I want the future that I want? But part of that, what comes up is, how do I let go of these fears and these excuses that have been holding me back from creating that thing that I want? And what am I afraid of? Is it afraid of success, afraid of failure? And facing our fears and our past beliefs, because all of the reasons that I haven't selected that one core group of people that I serve, it all stems from fear, false beliefs, beliefs or things that I think are true and that are preventing me from doing that. So I'm committing here and now that I'm going to go through these exercises and pick that. Actually, back in April, I started going through the book, Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting Playbook by Lynn Grabhorn. I love this playbook. Following my sudden cardiac arrest, this is one of the tools that actually Jim Edwards told me about. I had read the book, but I didn't know there was a workbook to go along with it. And so I was on a cruise with the Jim boat, and right after my sudden cardiac arrest, and he said, well, have you seen the workbook? You need to check out the playbook or the workbook for that, because it's really, really good. And I did, and it took me almost a year to get through it the first time. Now, I busted myself yesterday realizing that I'm only on page 68. It's a pretty thick book, only on page 68, because COVID and life and excuses and resistance have gotten in the way, and I just haven't been doing it. I was doing it every day, and then somehow I got sidetracked and I wasn't doing it. I can say, I was at the cabin this weekend, so I didn't take it with me, but that's a lie, because it was actually with me. I just, over the last couple of weeks, have gotten sidetracked, and I literally haven't been doing it. So last night I started, because I knew I had to do this area, going back to and working on the little playbook. And one of the exercises, I'm in actually the whole section about our patterns, and can we see patterns and behaviors in other people, because we can always see them in other people easier and faster and better than we see them in ourselves or admit them in ourselves. And now I'm to the repetitive patterns and the lessons learned, and coming up with what are the 3 major lessons, and I'm going to do some more on it tonight, because it's helping me with this area and this block in my life, my relationships, my level of success, because by not choosing, and I'm all over the board, right? And the things that I'm doing are a lot less effective than they could be if I were more focused and less all over the place, right? And more direct. People would understand what I really can help them with. And choosing one thing isn't saying, logically we know that all of these excuses and all of these reasons that I haven't or can't do something are made up, right? So instead of making up reasons I can't do something, I'm going to get leverage on myself tonight, work on really getting clear on my future vision and all of the reasons why I must do it and why it's important for me to do it. And you can use the same kind of a strategy on yourself. How do you take something that you want to do or you would like to do and make it a must do? You do things like this. You do the 7 why deep exercise. Well, why do I want that? Why do I want that? Why do I want that? And you get to the real heart of the matter, the real core for you. And the reason you want to do something may be entirely different than anybody else, but it's your reason. It's your motivation. It's what's inside of you that gives you the fire to want to go out and the energy and the creativity and the imagination to figure it out for you. Because we can model other people, we can learn from other people, we can take advice from other people, but until we actually act on that advice and test it out on ourselves, we don't know if it's right for us or not. So I say, you are the only real expert of you. We can learn from teachers, we can learn from other people, but bottom line, it's up to you to experience it for yourself and figure out the bits and the pieces that absolutely positively work for you and are right for you. So that's our S today. S today is all about, in our SOAP model, the story, your situation. What are you telling yourself right now? And being brutally honest with what and where you are right now. What and where I am right now is painfully with respect to this particular topic, relationship, of picking a tribe, a specific group that I serve and talk to exclusively is a topic that I've been struggling with since I came online in 2017. Now, it doesn't mean 800 people and coaches have not told me that I need to do this, and this is the quickest, fastest, easiest way to succeed, because they have. Have I heard that? Do I know this? That's the biggest problem that I and many of us have. I know this, I've heard this before, but I've heard it before and I haven't done it. I've known it and I haven't tried it on myself and in my life. So there's a hard personal development one for me, but I'm committing here and now during this challenge. I'm doing it. I'm figuring it out. I'm going to quit making excuses about it. I'm going to make sure that I'm serving the people that I'm here to serve, starting with a particular group of people. And maybe it's my political resistance. The world right now, especially in America, is trying to segregate and categorize and get people fighting against each other. And that feels so bad for me. That's my new excuse for pushing against serving a particular group. But I'll knock that one out today too, using some of my Lynn Grabhorn exercises to make sure I'm really doing and really being honest with myself in terms of the reasons and the excuses I've been giving for not doing something that I know I need and I actually want to do. I know that I need to do it. I know I want to do it. So it's time to get a handle on it and take care of it once and for all. So what are you working on today? What is your S? What do I want us to share for an action item? I've been kind of falling off and forgetting to share action items. When I talk about mine in the video, I sort of forget to ask and remind you to share something. So yesterday, and talked about our area: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, contribution, or relationships. What we're going to work on this time through the SOAP model. And if it's the same one you've been working on, I mean, like I said, my knee still hurts. I could still continue to work about my knee, but I know I want to work on these areas so that I'm not singularly focused. If all I did was think about my knee all day long, guess what? My knee would probably fall off because I'd be contributing more to the negativity than me. My real desire and goal is to not even notice it, because it's just like everything else. It just works automatically and it doesn't cause me pain. And the same thing in every other area of my life. I want to make sure this is a pain point for me and it's causing me challenges in my relationships area, so I want to knock it out and take care of it once and for all. All right, if I can help you in any way, any questions about S, situation, story, where you are versus where you want to be, ask in the comments below. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow and I'll let you know how it went, how I worked through some of these excuses and reasons I'm giving myself for staying stuck, and what I'm going to do to get leverage on myself to make sure that I don't allow that I make it a must. I must have the future picture of what I want, not where I am. All right, have a great day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.